Divergent thinking is a thought process used to generate creative ideas by exploring many possible solutions. It typically occurs in a spontaneous, free-flowing, non-linear manner, such that many ideas are generated in an emergent cognitive fashion. Many possible solutions are explored in a short amount of time, and unexpected connections are drawn. Welcome to Minds in Formation. And
we're on
we're
video
up.
too. Okay,
Yeah,
nice.
yeah, we got both.
Sweet.
We got both.
I should have worn my tux.
The first time I did a podcast, I only did audio. So I did have to kind of learn a few things. And I'm still learning. Like, there's a little bit more to it and just the recording process and getting everything together.
Mm-hmm.
It's been fun, though. All right. Let's see what we got here today. All right. Today, as we're recording, this is December 5th. Okay. So on December 5th, 1933, the United States officially ended prohibition with the ratification of the 21st Amendment, closing one of the strangest social experiments in history. What began in 1920 as a moral crusade to eliminate alcohol's evils instead birthed a golden age of organized crime, speakeasies hidden behind soda shop fronts, and bathtub gin that sometimes blinded its drinkers. In the final frantic months before repeal, Americans stockpiled liquor so aggressively that warehouses ran dry and the federal government earned its first alcohol tax windfall in over a decade, money it desperately needed during the Great Depression. The most mind-blowing part, the amendment that ended prohibition is the only one in U.S. history to repeal another amendment, a constitutional self-correction that quietly admitted, yeah, we messed that one up.
How fitting.
Yeah. So, cheers, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got beers. They're legal. You can get them at the store.
Can you imagine? And plus, I mean, like, even around town, where I was from, though, too, there's like a speakeasy vibe. Like, they have a code to get in and do all this other stuff. Like, that's like resonating with people even today.
I think that's just like I don't know, a fad, or what would you call it? Just a trend, right? There's a weird amount of those things in Colorado Springs.
Yeah, I think I've found at least 2 or 3 to start off with, but there's no windows, which makes sense, but I think I feel a little boxed in at those places, if I'm being honest. But yeah, fun tidbit, 1933. Okay.
Yeah, it's a trip. It's a trip that was even attempted. And then now, fast forward, and alcohol is a huge part of our culture, for better or worse, right? Mm-hmm. You know, people drink all the time. We're having beers right now. But
I heard a weird stat that younger generations are like not drinking as much.
Yes.
So what are they doing?
They're gooning and bed rotting, dude.
What is gooning? Hey, maybe that's one of those lingos I'm not familiar with.
I have teenage kids.
Okay.
It means jerking off.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, noted. I'll make sure to file that one away.
Yeah, so if you call someone a goon, that's what it means. But I just think it's a funny term.
Like a winker.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
But I do think, even though I'm joking a little bit, I'm not entirely joking, because society has shifted to so much more screen time in general. So people are more content with just hanging out in their dorm room and staring at their phone or playing video games instead of going out in the world and trying to get into a party or something like that.
It kind of probably led to the whole incel culture, right?
Yeah, totally.
Well, turn for the worse there, but yeah, no, I hope that doesn't like continue.
Yeah, I don't know. It probably will, to be honest. I think it will, at least in the near-ish future.
You know a weird thing that I've noticed?
What?
My parents spend more time on their phones than I do.
Really?
It's a weird trend, but I think that they're so enamored by the information that they glean from the internet, and they just think it's all true.
Mm.
And they don't just put on that investigator hat to kind of figure out, oh, okay, this is obviously BS. And then they get into the whole like conspiracy thing, like,
so they're just getting like wound up all the time.
And plus, they don't really have that much to do if they're close to retirement or whatever. And it's kind of like, did you hear? And then it's kind of like this whole like, oh, I can see why you're into InfoWars and all your Dan Brown books. But yeah, I think that's also something really weird that I've been noticing lately. Because I thought it was just like my dad, but I think that my other friends' parents had the same situation. I'm like, okay, this is a weird thing. There should be a documentary about that, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's certainly a thing. And I guess you saw versions of that before the internet. Retired people that just love to watch the news all day. Like once the 24/7,
yeah, exactly.
once the 24/7 news cycle came out, whether it was Fox or CNN or whatever your flavor was, just all day long and just getting pissed about one thing or another. But now it's just the phone, just direct.
Well, yeah, now it's just kind of like it's what do they call that? It's like some sort of like it's self-fulfilling. Like you, the more the stuff like those pundits come in and they say their opinion about XYZ, and then they just like keep listening to it, and it recertifies like what they think that they need to believe, and then they continue to watch. And yeah, that's a horrible turn for like I think our country, if I'm being honest. We need the Cronkite hour, just like straight up news, no opinions. This is what happened. We have the video evidence, and then that's it. You decide. Now it's like you think this and you think that, and yeah, it's not great.
No, it's not great. It's not great at all.
Yeah.
We took a turn for the worse, but it's a necessary evil at the same time. Like not the news cycle, more the internet, just so people can be informed.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's not so easy to fool us, basically. Because maybe back in the day, if there's just the news guy,
Mm-hmm.
how hard is it to orchestrate a story, kind of propagandize people, adjust the narrative to whatever they want it to be, right?
It's so easy these days. It's crazy. I mean,
well, I'm saying it would be even easier before. Because if there's just one news guy, you're like, this is what the fuck you say, news guy. This is the story. And they're like, that wasn't a government conspiracy at all. That wasn't the CIA. That was nothing to worry about. That was just, a weather balloon.
I don't know what happened, but I think like and this is my opinion, I just don't think that they needed to tend to that audience and be like, hey, you need to watch us because of this. It's kind of like now I feel like everyone's kind of a whore.
Yeah.
So
no, it is true. And we're all, or many of us are overly invested in these different stories from around the world that really don't impact your life all that much. You're getting so upset about like politics or international relationships. And I'm like, back in the day, you would just be like, I need to go cut firewood because it's going to be cold. And there's something to be said for that simplicity, not being obsessed with global issues.
Well, yeah, I just think like you're spending so much time on this one thing that doesn't impact anyone that you know, or you in particular, and you're getting so, yeah, it's depressing, the news cycle. It's this, I mean, we can go into like the social media if we want though too, but like it's the same thing where it's the same stuff and then it's just trying to invoke some sort of emotion. And yeah, it's not great.
Yeah, it seems, if you take a step back, it seems like it's all just made to sow dissent and
distract.
Yeah. Yeah.
And distract, there could be a lot of stuff going on we don't even know about. That's my own conspiracy, I guess.
Which there probably is.
Yeah.
But you just wonder how much.
How many like covert operations where that's the exact same tactic, just distract and while something else is going on at the same time. But
yeah. Same thing magicians do. Look over here.
Yeah. Magicians. I kind of wanted to change topics really quick because I wanted to talk about something that happened today that was announced. That Netflix is acquiring Warner Brothers. Did you see that story?
I did.
So this is kind of a big deal because of like what Netflix represents, just like the streaming and everything. And then you have Warner Brothers, kind of like the old classic Hollywood machine and all of their properties. So we're talking like Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, Superman, like you can go on. And it's like, how is Netflix going to absorb Warner Brothers into their platform? Are they going to keep it? Or I like to just have one subscription like everyone else, but I mean, there's a lot we don't even know. But I guess they're going to continue to release movies from Warner Brothers theatrically, but just shorten the window. From instead of like 4 weeks, they're going to shorten to like 2 and then be like, okay, now we're going to put it on our platform to stream type of thing. But yeah, no, I just think it really affects I mean, because everyone has Netflix. There's 300 million subscribers of Netflix, and that's the number. But
Is that globally or USA?
that's a good question.
Because if
I
it's
think,
USA, then that means it's almost everyone.
yeah. So what is the population in US?
It's like
400 million, something like that?
it's like approaching that, I think, ish.
Probably. But yeah, I mean, even if it is global, I mean, it's crazy how they're going to integrate everything. And does that change other things that are like happening within like the DC universe with the movies and the new Superman, and how is that going to look? All these things are in motion, and now it's kind of like we have an announcement. It's like, okay, well, we're gonna take, you guys are all expecting XYZ, and now we're gonna throw a wrench in those plans, and who knows what's going to happen. But I don't know. I think there's a kind of like, people might not really like the acquisition, but I mean, think about it. I mean, Amazon bought MGM not
Mhm.
long ago, so they bought James Bond, right? So a lot of these things are happening, these mergers, or I wouldn't say mergers, but acquisitions, and it's changing the landscape, in my opinion, for TV and movies and how we absorb them. It's just
Yeah, is it another nail in the coffin of the movie theater? Because that's already kind of been happening.
I was just about to ask you. I'm like, when was the last movie that you've seen in theaters that you can recall? I mean, do you even remember off the cuff? Like,
I don't, because I feel like I went to the theater maybe 2 months ago, but I am having trouble remembering what we even watched, because the last few times I've been to the theater, I've found most of the movies unremarkable. But it takes a lot to kind of really capture my attention. I think and that's a me problem. I'm not saying
what do you
all
mean?
movies
This
are
is
crap.
interesting. What do you mean by that?
I think I'm kind of a spaz. So if the movie isn't really good in what I view as good, then it's hard for me to get into it, to pay
So,
attention.
like, are you talking about like they need to like keep your attention, or is it like, I mean, because to me, like, I don't know, some movies can be slower moving, and then it starts to hit. Are you saying that you don't really have the patience? You're like, I can't wait through the 20 minutes of like the build up of the characters just to get to the X, like, is that you? Or are you just kind of like just not that like patient to get to that point? Or
No, because I mean, I think I told you, I think some of my favorite movies, or hands down, probably my favorite movies, are Quentin Tarantino movies, which for a lot of people are slow and boring because they're dialogue heavy.
the dialogue's so good though.
It's so good, but it's made in such an engaging way, and I guess I like the art of it. Where as a lot of movies that I go see, recently, and when I say recent, I mean like over the last 10 to 15 years, I find a lot of them to be generic, with kind of shallow stories and shallow characters. And it's like you can see what's coming a mile away. And
Well, I got to ask you,
it's just rinse and repeat the same
last
basic shit.
when's the last really good comedy movie that you remember? Because I was talking to somebody else about this, and I thought really hard, and I'm thinking, I'm not even kidding you. I think it was like 2011 with the other guys, and but they're so like careful about who they offend now that comedies are going out of the window. Like, you can't just like joke anymore without like a target audience being offended or whatever.
Right.
I just think that's really interesting, but I hope that there's like a counterculture that happens. Same thing with theaters outright, but that makes it more acceptable to make comedies again. 'Cause there hasn't really been anything like that. And the stuff that they have released is not good at all, and generic and vanilla. Like you said, like, it's safe.
Yeah.
It's safe, and
But it's boring.
You know what you're gonna get, and I'm not saying all movies are like this, but there's a good chunk of them that are, and it's just like a safe. If you're a studio, you actually do the research. Here's the people we're going to engage, and here's the amount of money it's all calculated. And I think that sucks, because the art and the creativity or whatever is lost in the medium outright, and we can't lose that. But I've seen some good movies out there. There's some really good movies out there. But yeah, I think comedy has been hit the hardest out of all the genres. Horror is thriving. I think horror right now is just, most of the horror films I've been watching lately have been great.
Yeah, I agree. And that's one of the only genres that I gravitate to regularly still, because I feel like they'll take risks. They'll have crazy stories that just like, who would have even thought of it? Like what is happening, kind of like the sci-fi part behind the horror, interdimensional creature or some fucking weird demon or whatever. And I just like how they can kind of be a little bit more creative with the story, because it can be wild and crazy.
You wouldn't happen to have watched like the Alien Earth TV series, have you?
I did.
What'd you think?
I thought it was great.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
I could not believe how good it was. I was always interested in it, and I think a lot of my hope was that I saw Alien Romulus and I thought that was a solid movie.
Yeah.
I'm like, if you're going to build upon that, and I liked the director of the TV series for this new series, and I thought that she was great. That the lead lady, Sydney Chandler. In any case, yeah, the concept behind it, it was more sci-fi than it was horror, and so it was interesting and engaging, and I thought
it flowed so well too. Like, you know, they did the right amount of character development and, you know, ebb and flow of the energy, but it was engaging the whole time. A solid 8 episodes or whatever, and I loved every episode from start to finish. I was like, dude, they killed it.
I wonder what they're going to do next, because I'm like, it kind of seemed like things were kind of like, okay, we are at a good spot here and we rule. And that's no spoilers. It's just like, okay, well, now what? The biggest critique, though, that I can think of, and it's more of like a funny thing, but seeing a xenomorph on a beach on a sunny day, for some reason, it's so counter to everything that I've ever experienced prior to, which is maybe be the point. But I mean, watching, are you Alien or Aliens? Which one do you actually prefer?
I love them.
This is a very important question.
It's hard to pick because I look at them in 2 different lights. Okay. I look at Alien as a classic horror movie, and I look at Aliens as an action sci-fi horror movie. So it's almost like 2 different things. So it's hard to compare them to one another because
what director's better, Ridley Scott or James Cameron?
Ridley Scott.
Yeah, of course, right? Yeah. I was talking to my friend and he goes, "Are you going to go see Avatar?" I'm like, F no, dude. Those movies suck. And he's like, I told him, this is funny. I just want James Cameron to be forced to make Terminator movies the rest of his life. Just make them the rest of your life, because like that's the one thing that people absolutely adore. Like, and there's some lightning in the bottle whenever Schwarzenegger's involved, to just like, I mean, and I guess he's working on a new script. He said like, hey, I'm working on Terminator 7. I'm trying to crack it. But there's just so much technology out these days that's actually just too real. And so he's trying to, I'm like, okay, now we have to wait another 10 years before James Cameron decides to do something. Anyway, I'm getting off the tangent here, but yes, Alien, to me, yes, you're absolutely right. Horror, Aliens, more of a sci-fi action. But again, the alien was always in a dark setting, space, right? So
yeah,
there's never sun, there's never a beach, and I just thought that was kind of weird, but it was fine. But it made the creature less scary. So I'm just like, okay, like, oh, he's hiding behind a palm tree. That's different. Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, great show. I'm surprised you've watched it. Yeah, that was kind of a surprise show that I didn't think it was going to be that good. Honestly.
Yeah, it was honestly my son's idea. I think I had seen it in passing, and I wasn't even sure if I had the subscription for whatever streaming service it was on, because I just saw an advertisement or whatever, and I almost immediately forgot it because I did kind of just write it off. I'm like, it's probably going to suck. Mm-hmm. But my son was like, should we watch Alien Earth? And I was like, all right, cool. You know, we can have a little family movie night or whatever. And then like 15, 20 minutes in, I was like, this show is awesome.
It slapped like hard. And I know I'm pinballing around here, but you did mention Kill Bill earlier, and they're releasing the entire movie in theaters.
Oh, really?
So I'm not sure what it's called, The Whole Bloody Affair. So they're going to have probably that they're going to be back-to-back movies, like, or maybe that's going to be like a whole film. I'm not exactly sure.
That's going to be like a 5-hour deal.
Yeah, right. But I guess there's some added scenes or whatever, and I just thought like, hey, if you know this exists, are you going to go see it, or are you going to wait until it comes to streaming?
Well, in that case,
go ahead.
I feel like that's a long time. That's going to be a 5-hour movie. Mm-hmm. The movie experience is cool and everything, but I don't know if I like it that much, or I care about it that much. I wouldn't prefer to just kick back in my sweatpants. I got a super comfy couch and good TV and a sound system, and I could have a great time just like on a cold day in the comfort of my own home. So I'd probably wait.
Okay. I was thinking about his movies, and I don't know, man. With the one with DiCaprio, Django Unchained, that has to be my favorite Tarantino movie. Just everything. That to me, like, it had everything in it.
It's hard for me to pick though, because I feel that way seriously about almost all of them. We just watched Inglorious Bastards
Oh,
again not
so
too long
good.
ago. Show is so awesome.
So, like, who's your favorite character? Is Christoph Waltz, right? I mean, like,
100%. He was
100%.
so good.
He's good. He's good in everything. I just saw him in Frankenstein, the new Frankenstein on
Oh, yeah.
Netflix. He's in
Yep.
it, bit part, great.
Mhm.
And he's always been kind of a really great character actor that kind of got famous from that movie, from Inglorious Bastards, and it's just
Yeah. Funny enough, I just read an article about it. It popped up, So I guess my algorithm knows what I'm interested in.
Huh.
And it was talking about he was just a no-name kind of Austrian low-level actor, and they slapped him into Inglorious Bastards, and he became this incredible sensation. But he also said something that was like so crazy and so true, and I was like, "Whoa, that's pretty wild." Because everyone was saying you played that part so well because
Oh.
you're playing this evil, kind of gnarly character, but you're not really acting like an evil, insane guy. You're kind of acting like a normal guy. You're even a bit charming at times. And there are times when you're like, you kind of love him in the movie, even though he's a like Nazi psychopath, whatever. But his point was, I don't remember exactly how he phrased it, but he said everyone thinks they're doing good. Like even the Nazis thought they were doing good. So you have to kind of get into that headspace with being an actor, of course, but it's such an interesting concept. Everyone thinks they're on the right team, no matter what it is you're doing. Even if history looks at you like an insane fucking maniac, at the time when you were with your guys and you were doing whatever, you thought you were doing the right thing. You
No,
thought you were the good guys.
Yeah, I mean, and he was great in Django too. I thought as the dentist, he was hilarious. Dentist slash bounty hunter. Yeah, he was great in that. And then, and he was also in. Is it Alita? Have you seen Alita?
Is that?
I think that's executive produced by James Cameron, but it's Chris Rodriguez. I think it's called Alita.
Is that where she's like a robot girl or something?
But Christoph Waltz, I think, is the scientist that like
he's kind of taking care of her.
Yeah. And they're gonna they just announced they're gonna try to do a sequel to that finally. And honestly, I should probably rewatch that because I really enjoyed it. But
it was cool.
Yeah, it was really, really well done.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, Christoph Waltz, man. So good.
He's a beast. But this goes back to kind of what I was saying.
Sure.
Is like I'm not overly picky, but I just feel like there's not a lot of good quality movies. Like so these things that we're talking about are good examples to me, but like I can't think of anything else recently that I was like, oh hell yeah. Like I can't even really tell you what the last movie that I said hell yeah for. Like what's the most recent release that you were like, this is badass?
Honestly, I did enjoy F1 quite a bit. And that was just this summer. That one, there isn't very many racing movies at all. And maybe that's the reason why I went to go after it. But Hans Zimmer does the score and he is amazing. Like the score for that movie, like you are engaged, you're in it, and you're kind of in like you're kind of like driving with the F1 drivers. So it was very exciting. And there's not very many movies that do that. But yeah, I'm trying to think. I mean, outside of that, but most of the time I end up going to the theater because it's like an event, and I can't go to an event just going to some generic movie. But I can see how you can see that. I think a lot of like, I hate to say it, but like those Netflix originals, those Amazon original movies or whatever they are, they're exactly that. They're just vanilla cash grab movies that you're going to watch and forget about the next day. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah.
I kind of feel that way about Avatar, but I haven't seen the new ones because I had such a bad taste of the first one.
You really didn't like the first one?
We had this debate, and it's kind of like, I think my friend at the time, this is 2009 when it came out. He was so engrossed and like, oh, can you believe? I mean, just the special effects alone. I go, you take away the special effects. What is that movie to you? Like you watch a movie 100 years from now and you're like, oh, what was so great about this movie? It's like a very similar, they did a South Park episode about it, about like how basically it's a stolen like storyline from Dances with Wolves. It's like,
yeah, it's been done a few times. You ever seen Fern Gully?
Yeah, I have seen Fern Gully. I think there was two of them.
Yeah,
actually.
It was Fern Gully. Fern Gully is the OG one as far as I know.
Really? Yeah, I mean, to me, you can have bad effects, and if somehow the story is like, if it comes through, like, okay, here's maybe a good example would be, a really good example would probably be like Highlander. Like, the story was so good and so out there and made you think, at least this is for me, right? Kind of being a Highlander fan, that, but the special effects were kind of cheesy. The acting was over the top, but I also appreciated it, but it had a killer soundtrack. It had the Queen. So, I mean, it's instances like that. That's why if I said, hey, if you wanted to reboot any movie, that would be right, because it's like they didn't stick the landing completely, but the idea behind it, and what would it be like to live forever? What would you do? And is still so cool. It's just one of those movies that I'm waiting to. They're making it right now with Cavill as the Highlander or whatever. So
there are some reboots that I think would be justified. I think Jess was saying it the other day. I don't know if we're quite ready for it, but some type of rework of the Matrix could be cool. It's been a little bit of time.
That is so funny you mentioned that. I think that well, actually, I don't think I read, this was just yesterday, that they just got word that they're prioritizing the next Matrix film.
Really?
And they've engaged Keanu Reeves to, I'm not sure if it's a hand the torch situation or if it's a complete I have no idea what they're going to do about it, but supposedly it should be original script. The last one they did, Resurrection, that was horrible. It was one of the worst things I've ever seen, and I'm like, how did this get greenlit? All just because of the name and then the director? Like, I was just like,
yeah. They kind of they shit on such a good thing, like, because the original Matrix movie was amazing. Like, everybody fucking loved it.
I remember a lot about. I mean, I remember like watching the trailers for that, and I remember they had like Enigma. They were playing music in the background for the trailer, and the trailer, like, oh, it was so amazing. And I remember telling my dad, I go, Dad, we have to go to the theaters to watch this. This is going to be great. And sure enough, it like being like one of the biggest movies ever. And I just remember everything about. They just had to tarnish it. It's kind of like Gladiator too, right? I'm like, Gladiator is such a great movie. Then they had the sequel, and it ruined a part of the first one. It's kind of like it took away a little bit from it, and it's hard to not like just view it separately from the other. And I don't know. And they're making a third one.
The third Gladiator?
They're making a third. I keep up all the movie news, man. But yeah, I
didn't think the second one was too bad.
It was like, but it was very the same as the first one. I mean, and there was a weird subplot with Denzel Washington's character, and I'm like, okay, I guess you're just a really bad dude, and you have your own vendetta, whatever. Like, there's a lot going on. I think it was overbloated or bloated. It'd be overbloated, but anyway. But yeah.
That's how I felt about all three new Star Wars movies, or newer ones. The latest trilogy.
The latest, so 7, is that 7 through 9? Yeah, 7 through 9.
Yeah.
Right?
It just rehashed the episode 4, 5, and 6. I thought it was so stupid.
Oh my God.
I thought it was absolute garbage. Like, you didn't put any actual thought into it. Seriously, just rehashed the same thing. Go find somebody on a desert planet. Oh, you have the Force. We're going to help you out. Even going and fighting on a snowy planet on episode 8. Yeah, like movie 8.
Yes.
It was the exact same story. It made me so angry.
I will say, I do like Andor quite a bit. Andor was really good if you haven't seen that.
Is that a movie or a show?
Show.
Well, yeah, I did not see that one.
Dude, it is amazing.
Is it?
Yeah,
I think I heard about it.
You have to watch it. It's one of the characters from, oh my gosh, I'm just drawing a blank. Rogue. It was that one, Rogue Squadron. What is that?
Or Rogue One.
Rogue One. Sorry,
that what it was?
Jeez, brains all over. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
I think I saw like the first episode, but then I never kept up with it.
Yeah, the writing's great. Everything's just, it's great. That's why they had a second season. And then obviously Mandalorian's great, but I think it just got too popular. But they're going to release that movie, The Mandalorian and Grogu.
Oh, really?
That's the name of the movie. Kind of a weird title. But I mean, yeah, that one seems like a very safe movie though too. It's just like hitting home the same things that made the initial season of that show popular. But yeah, but for the most part, yeah, Star Wars has not been great. But they are making a a new Star Wars movie in the same universe outside of the Skywalker saga about a starfighter, and Ryan Gosling's going to be in it.
Hmm.
Yeah, it should be good. We'll see. But
Ryan Gosling's awesome.
he is great.
He's good in most things, I feel like.
Would you say the same thing about Jake Gyllenhaal? I think they're both kind of like
They're like kind of similar.
very
yeah.
similar. You know, kind of like they're kind of versatile that
Yeah.
way. And I'm really excited for Ryan Gosling's project Hail Mary, the writer of The Martian,
Oh, okay.
based upon his book, of the same name. And yeah, that one's coming out in a few months too. And I have to read that book before I go to the theater for that one. But
Is it like a space sci-fi one?
Yeah, he's a science teacher, and then he's recruited by NASA or whatever to save the planet. I guess the sun's dying and he needs to help with that. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know much else beyond that, but yeah, it should be good. It should be good. Yeah, Ryan Goss is amazing.
He was sick in The Gray Man. Did you watch that one?
Yes.
That was cool.
Yeah, I keep thinking about that movie. I like the action set pieces are great. I know they're making a sequel to that whole. They're trying to make it like a whole like franchise or whatever. But that was a really expensive movie.
Was it?
Oh yeah, probably like north of 200 million,
Damn.
which is nothing to Hollywood these days. But yeah,
It's crazy. Do you think, or what do you think the impact is going to be of all of the AI generated video? Because they're already pretty good, and you can make these clips and you start stitching them together.
Mm-hmm.
Like, are we just going to start seeing bangers come out of people's basements to where you don't even need a studio at all? It's just a dude with a cool idea on a computer that's making an absolute like masterpiece.
I think my initial knee-jerk reaction is to be very against it. But with any new technology, I think as long as that there's a good story, if there's something original outside of that, because that's helping tell the story, right? It shouldn't be the story.
Right.
That was my problem with Avatar, because I thought like the special effects were the draw, not the story.
Yeah, because you are right about that. If you strip away the special effects and it's just dudes standing in a field and they're having the same conversations, you're like, this movie sucks.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny to think about, but like, yeah, your question, is AI going to be problematic? I think the purists out there will have a problem with it, but I think
Sure.
as long as well, and this is more of a purist though too, but like watching a movie now, like a big budget movie, special effects, that sort of stuff, as opposed to like a movie made in like the 60s or the 70s with practical effects and shot on film, completely different look to it. And you know, I'm way more enamored. I mean, I've used that word too many times, but watching a movie that was on film as opposed to something that was on digital, unless they do a lot of doctoring, but it just there's something very romantic, I guess, maybe a good adjective, but to describe watching those movies and you're being fully immersed. But now they all kind of look sort of the same. You know, the CGI is very similar.
Yeah. I miss physical makeup and costumes and special effects.
Me too.
I
animatronics.
Yeah, it's so cool. Like, I think that's a lost art. Even going back and watching Star Wars, for instance, they have so many robots and like weird costumes, and maybe sometimes they look funky. But then when you go to the later ones and, you know, like Yoda's doing a million backflips or whatever, like you feel like something has been lost here. It doesn't capture you the same way. So I've wondered with the arts specifically, when it comes to music, movies, I mean, paintings or whatever, we're on the cusp of computers being able to like do this. They're already doing like crazy songs, like original songs or like covers. You've probably seen it. There's like a million different AI covers. You like take a rap song and turn it into a bluesy 50s song, and it's amazingly good. It's like crazy good.
Yeah, that's something.
But what I think is how this could go though, because that's going to happen. You're not going to stop that train. But maybe the way you go to the grocery store and there's an organic sticker on an item, maybe with art there will be something similar. Be like, this is completely man-made, and that could end up meaning something at some point. You go to a movie and you got two options. You got this one was made on a computer. It's really good. It's really entertaining. It's going to be awesome. Or you got this one that's got the man-made sticker. So it's like, you can do whatever you want. But it could almost reinvigorate the classic movie making process of doing things physically as kind of a pushback or as an ode to the classics.
I totally agree. And I think honestly, if they were to more emphasize on that, I would be more apt to go to the theaters.
I think it's a missed opportunity that somebody is not doing something like that.
It just seems like a shortcut. Everything like this seems like a shortcut. And you try to get rid of, the AI makes things easier, and that's dollar signs for studios, right? Like, how we can make this movie for how much less if we added AI.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Let's do that. And yeah, you're just losing the art behind the filmmaking process.
But again, maybe reinvigorating it in a different way, because there'll always be purists out there. At least for a certain amount of time. After a certain amount of time, it'll probably be like, all right, there's nobody left that gives a shit about old school movies. But
I hope that's not the case. But yeah, I don't know. But watching a movie with obvious AI, I don't think that AI can write a great story. That's original. How about that?
Yeah, but maybe you don't need to. I love to read, right? I love Stephen King books. Sometimes Stephen King movies are good. Sometimes they're not. Most of the times they're kind of mediocre.
They're kind of like hit or miss.
But his books are amazing. Like, he's my favorite. I have most of his books. I've read most of them. A bunch of them are on that bookshelf over there. I think they're so good. So if you could just download that into Sora or whatever one of these AI platforms is, once it gets to the point where it becomes that capable. Right now, you can make short clips, but if you could just take this whole book and be like, make this movie, make it as badass, make it in this style, tell it all the prompts, and it's just like bam, 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 bam. That would be crazy.
Oh my gosh, I hope that never comes to fruition.
Oh, it's definitely going to happen. It's probably going to happen relatively soon.
I know, I just don't want it to. Maybe I'm willfully ignorant about it because I just don't want it to happen. Man, that's tough. That's a tough pill to swallow.
Yeah, it is kind of crazy, especially if you think about the years and years and countless man hours that people like poured blood, sweat, and tears into developing this art. From Charlie Chaplin days all the way to like up until now, and to think that it would just be wiped out in an instant. But
okay,
that's going to happen with everything.
Okay, the guy from Raiders of the Lost Ark, towards the end, when his face got melted off.
Yeah.
What are they going to do? Like, can you imagine them doing like a CGI of trying to represent what's happening to, like, or the wolf, or when the guy turns into the werewolf, an American Werewolf in London or whatever from like the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
Like, those were like practical effects. Like, how that looked so cool. Now it's just so easy to tell.
Yeah.
And I think the weird thing is about it is like, if you film something and then you have CGI, you can tell that it's like out of place. Like,
yeah,
it doesn't look or feel real. I don't know how they can ever really get to that point. I don't know. I don't know. I haven't messed with AI enough because I know that it's coming down and I don't like it.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I saw a random one today, and it was this completely fictional story about how somebody rescued a lynx from a fire, and it got in their car, and he took it home and took care of it. But the lynx was really pushing him to go back out, but it was because his boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever his mate was trapped under a tree. It looked really good. It looked real, dude. You
have to show it to me.
Like, it could pretty much fool you. If I sent it to you and I was like, dude, check out this crazy ass story. Like, you probably would believe it because it looks real.
So what do you think then about filmmakers or actors or anyone? Do you think that their jobs are eventually going to be out?
Yeah, totally.
Really?
But along with all kinds of other jobs, probably your job and my job too.
Well, yeah. Well, yeah, eventually. But yeah, but there's just, I wonder, like,
That's what I'm saying. You got to put the made by human sticker. That has to become a thing. That's the
No, I agree. Yeah, I think that they signed some sort of thing. I'm not sure what it is. Some sort of agreement where they're protecting their likeness from being copied or whatever and put into something like you're describing.
you probably wouldn't even need it. You wouldn't even need be like, yeah, Brad Pitt's cool, but here's I don't know, some other guy. Give him whatever name you want. I was trying to think of something
No,
that
fine.
rhymed with Brad Pitt. I couldn't pull it out. But you just create a character. It won't matter. You know, like human celebrity will matter probably less and less in that way.
Well, that's probably a good thing.
Potentially.
Celebrity worship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little weird, but that's also become less, I think.
Yeah, I agree to that. Let's just say like Tom Cruise, like the last true movie star or whatever. Or I think you probably throw Brad Pitt in there too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man. This is going to be an interesting few years, and I don't know how AI is going to be regulated or within any industry, or it's just going to be really strange the next few years.
Yeah, totally. Totally. And I feel like nobody really knows where we're heading in that department.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that there's a lot of different ways you could go, and it all comes down to like how they're going to go about regulating it within the next couple of years.
Yeah.
So,
or they won't regulate it and it'll turn into alien Earth and we'll switch from, you know, a democracy to a corporatocracy.
oh, I agree. I could totally see that happening.
I actually could too.
I could totally see that happening.
Where these companies become so rich and powerful, and then the government's like, hey, you can't do that. And they're like, actually, yes, we can. And we have like huge relationships in China and Brazil and all over the world. And they're just like, you don't tell us what to do anymore.
I love the mythology of the alien movies and the TV show, obviously, but like with the Weyland-Yutani, like, because the other alien movies, like, it was like 2400, like that was the year, and Weyland-Yutani's still doing its thing.
Yeah.
Still trying to like undermine and try to grab all these different species or whatever.
Yeah.
God, what a great, I don't know. I just never thought I'd be so into Alien. And so over like the last like couple of years, I just gotten really into it. And the Predator movies are great too. Have you seen the newer Predator?
Mm-mm.
Well, a couple of years ago, it was called Prey, and it takes place, in the 1800s.
I think I did see that one.
Yeah, great movie. And then they just released a new one. There's an animated movie. Then they released another one. It just came out. I think, gosh, I know they're going to get butchered for this, but I think it's called Badlands. But it's where the alien is actually like a protagonist. And then Weyland-Yutani is part of that universe too. They're bringing in the fold of like Alien and all that stuff. And I don't know. And they talked about bringing Arnold Schwarzenegger's character back. I don't want to spoil anything, but yeah, you'd have to probably watch that movie or read about it online. But
definitely, I loved Arnold so much back in the day. He was my favorite of all time. How old are you?
41.
Same. What month were you born?
January.
I'm October.
Okay.
Oh, you're older than me.
Well, hope you feel good about yourself.
You're old and gross.
Yeah.
I'm a spring chicken, dude. How's it feel?
Well, I don't know what to say to that. Anyway,
but he was my absolute favorite.
I was a Van Damme guy.
I loved him too. I couldn't get either one of those. And I remember, we used to go rent movies all the time, and I grew up a lot of times in small towns. So it would just be like at the grocery store or whatever, but they would also have a little movie rental section. And I would just look for anything Schwarzenegger or Van Damme that I hadn't seen yet. And I'd be like, hell yeah, get that.
Oh my gosh. I remember, yeah, again, we're dating ourselves. But yeah, I mean, going to Blockbuster or even Hollywood Video, that would be like, that was so much fun. Like, you'd be like, okay, and this is before we were able to drink or whatever, but it'd be like you're with your friends. You'd rent video games, and they'd have Twizzlers there, Sour Patches, Mountain Dew, all that other good stuff. But then you would go and just look at the cases and then read the synopsis, and you would get the movie not based upon a trailer that you saw or a preview necessarily on TV. You would do it basically because a lot of those movies were coming direct to video. So you're just like, oh my gosh, okay, so what's this kickboxer movie about? So you just turn around, you're like, oh, Muay Thai, okay, interesting. Or like anything Schwarzenegger. Schwarzenegger was just too big at the time. When Van Damme was starting out, he did a lot of direct to video until like he blew up in like 92, 93 with like the Time Cop and the really terrible Street Fighter movie, and
No, I liked him before that. Universal Soldier. That shit
Universal
was
Soldier is
awesome.
great, man.
Cyborg was crazy.
Cyborg was, I think, yes, I think Cyborg was like maybe shot before he did Bloodsport, or maybe the other way around, but they were like back to back. And yeah, I remember watching those, but those came like, they had very, very limited theatrical release. So they came almost direct to video. And I think a lot, like those Canon movies, Canon was a studio that did a lot of those really terrible movies. He-Man was one of them. Superman 4, once they got a little bit bigger, even though the budget was like peanuts. But yeah, anyway, yeah, going to Blockbuster, looking at the back of the cassette or the video cassette, or eventually the DVDs. DVDs were a thing. Actually, Matrix, full circle, right? That was like the very first DVD that had
Was it
come
really?
out. Yeah, one of the very first DVDs that had come out with that technology, and I was like, oh my god, I have to have the DVD of Matrix. I mean, are you kidding me? Yeah, I just remember going all the time and just reading those. It would there's a loss. It just kind of sucks because you don't. But you'd also do it with your friends, so you would just figure out which one you want to watch or what game you wanted to rent together, and it would be a Friday night, you know.
Yeah, I know those nights were lit, dude. Just getting some snacks with your friends and a couple of VHS tapes and heading back to the house. Maybe if you were lucky, like mom was going to order pizza or something. Like this is the coolest night ever.
It's all you needed. You would just have you'd have great conversations, and then you would play, like, at least this is what my friends were doing. We'd play like fighting games, and we would be up, or we'd be up until like 2 a.m, just just doing that, something so innocent.
Mm-hmm.
And now everything has to be online. And again, we're back full circle to the beginning of our conversation of like how people interact with others.
Yeah.
And not going out, rather it being all online. And yeah, that's something that was really great. Playing Halo with your friends in person.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like, because now kids like play online and that's cool and everything.
But you miss like their reaction, you miss like talking to them, you miss there's no banter really.
Yeah.
I mean, you can talk crap, but I mean,
Dude, we used to play GoldenEye on the like split screen.
Oh
like,
my God,
you only got one corner and everyone's close to it,
and there's only one odd job to pick. Everyone wanted to get odd job. It's always just jamming people from because you couldn't see him. He was too tiny. But yeah, those were
great times.
Nostalgia days, man. I kind of really miss. I really do miss those, if I'm being honest.
And it is hard not to look at it as a loss because I have kids. I have teenage kids. I can imagine myself at being 16 or 17, and I look at my kids at 16 and 17.
Yeah, you can't help but relate.
Yeah, but then I'll feel like there's something missing. I can't tell you how many times I've walked into, one of their rooms, and even when they have friends over, and it'd be like 3 dudes sitting there quietly, just looking at their phones. It's silent. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on in here right now? What are you guys doing? Why are you even hanging out with each other? This is so weird.
I know, yeah. And maybe there's something going on with that generation. And I did speak earlier about older people. Maybe it's just our middle group that is maybe not as much. We would have concerted efforts to hang out. We would travel, hundreds of miles to go hang out with each other, and then we'd sit in a room and they'd all be on their phones. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
What are you doing? Like, I haven't seen you, in so many months or whatever. And this is a family time, and you guys are all spending. Like, why? What are we doing?
It's weird. I mean, I feel uncomfortable even if I have to use my phone a little bit when I'm with company. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, I just got to shoot a text real quick because it's so tacky in my mind. But then you look around, if you're out at dinner or something like that, you'll see whole families where everyone is looking at their phone and like eating at the same time. And it's just like, whoa, dude.
No,
that's wild.
I think the biggest part about it that I had the most problem with is nothing feels genuine. And I feel that way about social media is that it's a lot of like validation, and you're doing it for the wrong reasons, and you're not doing it to connect with anybody really connect. Everything's superficial and surface level. And it's like, why would I want to maintain this?
Yeah.
Why am I maintaining this surface level relationship with you? For what? So you can get more likes or something? I don't know. My brain doesn't like that. And it's like society is saying, you need to do this. You need to do this in order to grow up to, and it's like, why? Like my body is literally telling me this is not right for you.
And that's a key point, your body. Like I'm a little bit obsessed with thinking about human past, where we come from, how we used to live our lives, even going back and thinking about hunter gatherers. And I don't know, I just think it's fascinating to think about human lineage across millennia, right? It's an interesting concept. But we're here and everything is pushing more and more into this digital like life where people are working online, you're on your computer all day, and then your entertainment is just like sitting around watching TV or staring more time at your phone. And it's crazy. It's like all consuming. And it's it seems to be very bad for our biology, like our bodies. Like we're supposed to be moving all the time, out and about, interacting with each other. We are highly social creatures. Even those people that are like, yeah, I'm a loner. I'm like, you probably don't truly want to be, like if you could, maybe you just don't know the right people. But anyways, besides the fact, while it's a great tool, it's awesome for information sharing, for awareness, gaining knowledge, learning things or whatever. That is awesome. And it's really cool. But at the same time, it's like attacking our nature, like our biological human nature. And I don't think we have a good balance with it at this point.
No, that's one of the reasons why I moved out here, Matt, is because I love being out in nature, and where I was at initially didn't really have a lot of those opportunities that were ideal. And so being out here and hiking all the time, exercising, but be more or less just like be present with my environment, whether it's like in the mountains or with you. If I'm having a conversation with you, I don't want to be distracted because you don't have my full attention. If I was surfing on my phone and talking to you at the same time,
it's nothing. You're not nonsense.
You don't think what I'm saying, I care about what you have to say.
Right.
And I don't think that maybe that's the reason why I don't tend to, I don't like to be, I like to be out and about. I like to be social, but I don't call people that I see all the time, like as friends. I would be like, oh, you're more of an acquaintance. Like if the people that actually have like genuine conversations, like they know about me, they want to, they want to get to know me and what I'm about. And I feel for my friends,
Mm-hmm.
People don't do that.
Yeah, it's weird because I'm the same way. Like once you're a person that's in my circle, like I love you and I'll do anything for you.
Correct.
I'm like a very loyal, like teammate or whatever you want to call it. Like once we're on the same team, like I got your back, dude. And that is like very difficult to find and to cultivate. And it seems like it probably shouldn't be that difficult. We just live in this very strange time where people are almost like there's a wall, there's a wall that's difficult to get through. And again, everyone's disconnected and it's so easy to just stay at home and watch your screens and be like, wow, I don't want to go out. I can just be here. It's so comfy. But it's almost like this weird version of comfy solitary confinement that everybody kind of signs up for.
It's lazy, and you're just accepting the way things are as long as they're convenient, and you're not putting any effort in making relationships, and then you're complaining at the same time that you're not getting those.
Yeah, or everybody sucks or whatever.
Yeah. It's like you're kind of being a hypocrite. It takes a little bit of effort, yes. And once you get out of your shell and you meet somebody and you like them, the rest should be really easy. I mean, it's strange how we got on this topic, but yeah, I really think that people are missing their genuine conversations, relationships with people. That's really missing. And that's why a lot of people are seeking out therapists. I think the mental care, I think that's blowing up.
Oh yeah,
because of everything that we're talking about.
Yeah, it's no coincidence. Yeah, these things are going hand in hand. That we have record rates of depression and anxiety, and teenagers having all these issues. Young girls like doing self-harm all the time. Like I had never even heard of that until I got older, and I was like, whoa! Like there's like chicks just like cutting their legs and arms just because like they're like they don't feel good in their head. I'm like, I didn't even know that was a thing back in the day. I never even heard of such a thing.
Yeah, these weird trends. I mean, it's like obviously they came about for a good reason. Just I don't think it's really hard to look back and be like, okay, it's because of this.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a disconnection, loss of purpose, loss of interaction. I mean, there's probably a lot of things. And then the online environment where you're comparing yourself to everybody else and you're always thinking I'm not doing good enough because you're seeing people like showcase themselves in all these perfect situations.
Yeah, exactly. You're not focusing on you.
Yeah.
You're focusing how people want you to act or how you think that you should act or whatnot. And I think, yeah, there's something to be said for that. That's another reason why I try to stay away from the social media, because I don't know, it's so easy to criticize somebody and then like you'll just take that, internalize it, and then you're like make it define you. It's really sad. But yeah, another reason to get off of that is to just not be on social media. And it's like I remember talking to somebody like, are you on blah blah blah? No. Well, like, what do you do? I'm like, what do you do? Like, are you just constantly on your phone? I'm like, well, what do you do to replace the time? I'm like, well, all my other interests, they, I mean, I can take up and spend time on. I think this is a waste of time. I'm not bettering myself in any regard. I'm not gaining a true friend. I'm not learning a new skill. I'm not, I'm not working towards an end goal. I'm on my phone and scrolling. That doesn't do anything.
Yeah. Yeah. And wasting time is not a good thing. It's very cliche, but time is a very precious asset. And to waste it is, it's a tragedy because it hits everyone in different times of life where, and not to get overly dark, but, your buddy dies or your family member passes away or something horrible happens and somebody, is crippled now. It's like, fuck, then you realize how much I should have used my time more wisely.
Yeah, it always hits home and then you're always drawn back. And it's kind of like, I don't know, like how often, if you just like calculate, okay, how many hour or how many minutes or hours, whatever you spend per day doing that can be done with something else that they can better yourself. Like what's something that you don't like about yourself and you can go about changing? How can you work towards that? Do you ever want to own a business or you have like any other goals that you want to, I mean, all that hinders that.
Right.
Do you think the people that you admire are scrolling their phones all day?
Probably not.
No, they're not. I bet you they're probably just playing the game because they know that people will listen to them and they have like a platform that someone else puts up for them. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
they're doing their own thing. Everyone else is just following along, in my opinion. So
that is the case in most instances, I believe, because I think you can see if whenever people are involved in those things too much, it just always seems to go sideways, Even just if you do have a big platform, but you're engaging with everyone, you ever look at a post, I'm sure everyone has, and you open up the comments and you see this like horrible, horrendous shit. And if you were somebody that was engaging with that, like you're a famous person and you post this picture and you go in the comments and you start replying to everyone, like that would be such a waste of time and such a toxic cesspool to even get involved with.
Yeah. Have someone else deal with it. It's kind of like, I don't blame them on that. I just think that it's kind of like, gosh, it just feels like everyone is kind of a lemming in that way, and they're not willing to admit it because they get a quick dopamine, rush from just viewing that content, and it's not good.
No, and there is addictive qualities to it. I mean, I find it in myself sometimes, and I have to be careful. I'll realize that I've like been sitting around like bed rotting, when I was just like, all right, I'm just going to kick back and like read the news and scroll around a little bit. Next thing I know, like it's been too long. I'm like, whoa. All right. We gotta move on with our life. We can't just watch YouTube videos all day.
You are hitting home. Yeah, exactly how I felt about it. And I have, it's strange to talk about this, but how did we even get on this? Honestly,
it's just one of those things, man.
So this video that you have that we're being recorded, that's just on YouTube and stuff? Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll shoot you all the links and whatnot.
I'm glad that I'm wearing my pajamas during it. I was like, oh, yeah, geez, thanks, Matt. Thanks for telling me that we're going to record on video.
Yeah, it'll buff.
Okay, well, anyway. But yeah, no.
Well, we're guys. Nobody really cares what guys look like, right?
Right? Yeah, maybe. Well, they at least know that we're both 41.
Yeah.
So I guess if...
Cat's out of the bag there.
Yeah. Maybe I should have lied. Yeah, but anyway... Jeez. think we talked about like we were all over the place there.
Yeah. It's a good time though, right? I mean, you just, because going to, in line with what we're talking about, when you just sit down and talk to someone, and that's kind of the reason I like to do it. It's not even that often in life that you just sit down and talk to somebody for an hour one-on-one without being interrupted or distracted, and just that's all you do.
If
Even that is kind of rare.
What we're doing right now, I'm gonna grab a beer.
Yeah.
What we're doing right now is something that I think would be a much healthier option, even though we're broadcasting it later or after the fact. We're having a legit conversation. Like, take the mics away, it's the same conversation. We were having a very similar conversation.
Yeah, we just
we
moved
put these mics. Yeah, we just moved like 10 feet.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
and then
okay,
we
well,
just
you
started
ready to
recording.
record? It's like, yeah, okay, cool. But yeah, I don't know. That's probably the reason why I like talking to you when I first met you, because I was just like, he seems like he was just kind of like present in the moment. You know, we had the same sort of interest, and we start talking, and it's just weird, you know. And this is odd because maybe this goes to help, but people that have trouble socializing because of the constraints that we're talking about, like the social media or just, you know, putting yourself out there or whatever it is, it's like how I met you through like that meetup event or whatnot. It was perfect. I didn't know anybody in town, and I just looking to have someone to talk to and bounce ideas off of, and it ended up working just fine. And I'm not going to be like buddy buddy with everyone there, but you know, there's going to be a probably good chance that I'll end up liking somebody enough to get to know more.
Mm-hmm.
So that maybe is more of a, I guess, adding on to our previous conversation, is kind of like, well, if you're afraid to go talk to people, you know, just, you know, you got to make that jump.
Yeah. And that's why I started that group. You know, I'm not currently doing it, but I ran it for a hot minute for 2.5 years.
So can I ask?
Yeah.
What made you create the group? So does everyone know, like, does everyone know you on this podcast exactly, or when you first started the podcast?
Yeah.
Do they know like why you created this podcast, or why, you know, I just trying to figure out the motivation behind
Sure.
why you do what you do.
Sorry. Yeah, no, totally. Yeah, no, I probably haven't talked about it. And so with the meetup group, I moved out here when COVID just started. So February 20, right? Is that right?
February,
Yeah.
March 2020, yep.
Yeah, 20. Got my truck, moved here, and the whole world shut down. Totally sucked because I was moving over here. I was ending a previous relationship and moving to a completely different phase in my life. I had this really cool job over in North Carolina. I knew my life was going to be a lot different. So I was like, okay, I really need to focus on building relationships. That's something I had in my mind before I even left. I was like, we're going to get out there and we're going to build a fucking community. I was like, I'm going to find a tribe, dude, or I'm going to build a tribe if I can't find one. So that was a very intentional thing I had in my mind. But I moved out here and the world shut down for almost 2 years. So major bummer there. Spent the first 6 to 8 months, like when it was really like locked down and nothing was going on, just hiking and fishing and exploring the mountains. So that was a blessing because
that's perfect.
It was Colorado and there's plenty of that stuff to do. So I was just in the mountains like all the time. Anytime I got quarantined or it was a weekend, I'd be like, okay, fishing trip, going snowboarding, going to go hike a new trail, whatever. But then finally, you know, things started to open up and I was like, okay, we got to get back to our original intention. And I went to a couple of meetup groups. I had heard about it. Maybe I'd been to 1 or 2 in the past. I don't really remember for sure.
It's weird. I mean, for me personally, I wanted to go and talk to people, but just like the idea is just these are all people I have no idea who they are, but they're all meeting up for the same reason. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're good. And that's why it works, because like meetup people are there for that reason. So they're easier to talk to. It's not like just going up to a rando in a bar and be like, hey, want to be my friend? And be like, what the fuck? You know, they'd be like so weird.
Well, if someone acted that hostile, I'd be like, something's wrong with you. But yeah, anyway, that'd be kind of funny.
Yeah. But it works. So anyways, I'd heard of Meetup. I went to a couple here in town. I went to one, it was like nobody was there. I was like, wah, wah, this sucks. And I went to another one. I didn't realize that this was going on with the group, but it was like all gay dudes. I didn't know that ahead of time.
I didn't know that.
I did not know
That's
that.
funny.
I didn't realize that, which is fine, but it was called Out and About. But I didn't really read the whole description.
Didn't register.
But I remember reading like the first line or two. It was like, we're in an all inclusive, everybody can come. And I was just like, whatever. It's just people that meet up for drinks. So I was like, sounds good. It was all gay dudes. A couple of them were really cool to me. A couple of them, I think, probably wanted a bone. And then a couple of them were outright like kind of shitty, almost like I was like invading their space or something. It was really weird dynamic. They were like, why is a fucking straight guy here? And I don't even know how they could tell. Like, it didn't really come up, but there was a couple of guys that I could tell like weren't really stoked about me being there.
Huh.
Maybe I mentioned having a girlfriend or something, and they were like, "Oh, what?
Thanks for wasting our time.
Yeah, fucking boo, a breeder, ew."
Boo this man.
Yeah, he likes vag, gross.
Get out of here.
So after that, I was like, this is whack. I'll just start a group and I'll do a better job. And allegedly, I was told it was a really good group. Some people would say it was like the best in town for a while. I'm not like trying to toot my own horn or whatever, but as I told you, I think before we started recording, I'm a regimented guy. So I was very diligent, yeah, and regular or consistent. Mm-hmm. So every week I would have an event, and they were all different. Some of them would repeat, be like trivia this day, some type of game. We're going to play kickball. We're going for a hike. Every week I would do something, and I met a lot of cool people. And yeah, you were asking about my intention. So my intention was to build a community, but also to foster community. Because kind of, and it goes in line with a lot of the stuff that we're talking about with everyone just staring at their home. Or staring at their phone, sitting at home. I was like, how about don't do that? How about come out to karaoke? And there's this place where just randos show up and you can just show up too. So I wanted to build my own community, but I wanted to foster that as well. To be like, put your phone away, turn off Netflix, come outside, talk to real people, make some friends, and let's see what it can turn into.
Full circle, Netflix again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, that's interesting. Yeah, I didn't know about the foster part. That's really cool. I think me and you need to talk more about that because I have ideas that I really enjoy. When I was in Omaha, there was a couple things I really do miss. There were just groups of people that I don't know how to describe it. That we like. There was a beercade. It's called the beercade, and a lot of people like pinheads. So there, a lot of people like pinball. They had craft beer. They had a movie going on in the background. I mean, there's a lot of like people there that and a community was eventually like established, and it wasn't through like a meetup or anything, but it was just like every Friday night or Friday afternoon, it's kind of like we'd all just meet up and, talk about whatever it is that we were interested in, which was all shared. So bringing that and fostering that's a big order. But yeah, I guess that's pretty admirable.
I mean, I just, I was benefiting from it too. So, I don't want to sound overly altruistic or anything, because I did make good friends and so like I was building my own community as well. I had my own intentions, but it was important for me to foster that sort of thing. But I guess I did get burnt out after a while. Maybe it was because I was so consistent and kind of regimented about it. But it was also one of those things that, at least for that current time, now here I am thinking about possibly getting involved with another like event, fucking coordination thing. We'll see how that works out. But anyways, It was also like you kind of see the same people over and over and over. You're not really getting new members that much. And some people are a little bit needy or kind of difficult to work with. Like they just kind of show up helpless. And there's
like they just want you to help them make the connections.
Yeah, or
that's weird.
They they want to talk to me all the time, and that's great. And I would love to talk to you, but then I can't have everyone that wants to talk to me all the time. I'm like, the whole point is for you guys to go talk to them. Like, I'm going to welcome you. I'm going to be like, hey, what's up? So I'm probably going to be like the most outgoing guy there, because if I can, I'll like go greet you. I'll be like, hey, welcome. Thanks for coming. What's your name? Like, I'm so
That's a lot of work.
glad you're here. Yeah, exactly. But then people would want to keep talking to me. And it was like a draining kind of aspect to it where I was like, yeah, yikes. Like, you guys are fucking sucking me dry here.
What if you did like a fight club instead? Do like a meetup and it's like, why don't we do a fight club?
That'd be cool.
Sign a waiver.
Yeah.
So you're gonna get in trouble.
Yeah. Anything can happen.
And then you take out all your aggression instead of online. You do it in real life.
Yeah.
Maybe make it wrestling, maybe less violent.
Yeah, you could do like jujitsu or something. Be like, you could try to choke each other out, but you're not really going to be hurt.
You have to tap out. You got to tap out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Something like that would be counter to what most. If someone saw that on a meetup, they'd be like, "This is very interesting. What is this about?"
Yeah,
probably
nobody would come, or maybe a couple of psychos, but mostly nobody would come.
I'll just create like a bunch of fake accounts, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, there's like 20 people going to this." It's like, well, I have to go now.
Yeah, yeah, and there was a little bit of an element of babysitting too that I kind of struggled with. Where again, some people were difficult, but then some people would hit me up afterwards in all different manners of ways. Sometimes it was chicks trying to holler. Sometimes it was someone saying, "Oh, like this guy was like being so crazy. Can you talk to him?" Or somebody saying that they were having like relationship issues with somebody else in the group, and they're like, "He's a toxic guy. You shouldn't even have him in your group." And I'm like, dude, this is not my responsibility. Y'all can't come. I'm not the fucking principal of the school here.
That's a very unique perspective on something that someone goes through in those meetup. What do you call those? Is it just a host?
Yeah,
you're
host
just like
or
a
event
host
organizer or whatever.
Yeah, that's very interesting because you're like, oh, it's like the dark side of being a host on Meetup. It's kind of like I have to deal with a bunch of drama in the background, and it's quite a lot.
Yeah, and I've actually heard a horror story about a different group. There was like a 30s and 40s group here in town not too long ago, a couple years ago. But the host was apparently like pretty good at it. Everyone thought he was like a good guy or whatever, but he was like kind of preying on some of the women.
Oh.
Yeah, like trying to like get them to have some extra drinks and go hang out, like getting handsy and stuff like that. There was like a few different stories like that. And I was like, oh shit.
Did he do the drugs, or did he do like the alcohol and the drugs, or was it just drugs?
I mean, I think he was mostly a drug guy, but I couldn't tell you for sure.
Well, I mean, he didn't do the drugs. He gave them the drugs.
He gave them the old pudding pop.
Like the pudding, like you see. Yeah, no, that's creepy. That's really creepy.
Yeah.
Huh.
Which I could kind of see how you could do. You get a weird kind of attention as a host. Like there are people that look at you as like, oh, wow, you're great. So you could see if you wanted to abuse that position, you probably could.
Okay, that's an interesting point. But
there's also, sorry, not to cut you off, but maybe the people that show up to Meetup, not all of them, but some of them may be a little bit vulnerable too, because they are lonely.
That's what I was just about to say. Like, from their perspective, it's kind of like, wow, he's doing all this and making it look so easy.
Yeah.
And he's just like talking to everybody. I admire what he's doing. I need to be more like Matt. And I can totally see how it's like those groupies, it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of like a groupie for Meetup almost. It's like it's weird. Yeah, but I can totally see it. But yeah, that's a lot of work that you went through, and what would that be? Nonsense you went through? I wouldn't call it like abuse, but
no, it's just dealing with people. You're always gonna have to deal with some bullshit too.
Stinks. Yeah. So being a host, whenever you're on Meetup, if you see a host, know that they're probably dealing with some other stuff outside of what the group entails or the event entails. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Huh. I did not know that about you, but that definitely helps us to like why you didn't want to continue with it after for so long.
Totally. I got to take a break.
Yeah. Okay. Poppers.
Okay.
He has like That's what you're saying, like microphones to test.
Poppers.
I don't know, something pop.
There is something about the P's and the S's.
P's and the S's with the microphones.
Yeah, that can get real like, kind of, poppy and lispy almost.
Yeah.
But these covers help with that.
Yeah. You're an expert now?
I did some research, not a ton.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, on a scale of 1 to 10, as far as audio engineers go, I'm probably a 4.5.
Well, that's pretty modest.
Yeah.
So how long have you been doing this podcast? How long? I mean, and do you get the same benefit as I get when I used to host my podcast? I thought it was the best thing ever because I'd have a great conversation with like-minded people that I was what's the word I'm looking for? I was maybe I wouldn't say necessarily challenged, but more like it was therapeutic. And I always felt better afterward. Always. And it's weird. And it's something like I can not talk to anybody for like a month. And then I'll sit down and have a conversation like this with somebody and feel like, okay, I got my social fix for like, because I talk about exactly what I'm interested in. And I think maybe I just need to do more of that so I can end up feeling better and better. But yeah, that's the reason why I didn't mean to. I asked you a question and then I kind of went on my own tangent there. Sorry.
No, you're good. But yeah, I do get the same thing out of it. I find it valuable to sit down and just have a conversation. I enjoy that process for sure. But then I also enjoy the rest of the process. I like to go and do the editing and mess around with the files on the computer and
like delete half of our episode because it's like talking nonsense or like
no. Well, honestly, I say editing loosely because I don't edit much at all. I leave it as organic as possible.
I love it.
Unless there's a part where they're stumbling, but in this episode, I will probably not delete anything. Like it'll probably be pretty much straight through unless there's a little thing here or there, but probably not. Probably be pretty much exactly as it was spoken. And that's by design as well, because it's the organic conversation that we're having and it's an organic conversation that whoever is receiving.
Okay. Now I'm going to change topics because my brain's all over. Is Dracula a zombie? Is Frankenstein a zombie?
I would say Frankenstein is a zombie.
Okay, but I think Dracula's more of like a limited zombie, but he's coherent. And he's undead, but he's not like, but he's dead.
The zombies are typically mindless, right? Like I believe if you look it up.
Well, yeah, but there's different types of zombies. So you have like your 28 days later zombie, like really rage virus, like hyper violent. I would say that they're intelligent, not to the point of like us, but very close. Then you have like the Night of the Living Dead, where they're just mindless drones of zombie. But Frankenstein, he's just slow. So on the other end, but then he's kind of smart, but the reason why I asked is just kind of like it's a fine line of difference. It's kind of like it's just interesting to think about. I have these types of stupid conversations with my other friends that are really into movies or whatnot. Oh, here's another one. Best sequel of all time.
Best sequel.
Movie sequel. I'll answer for you while you're thinking.
Yeah, go for it.
My inclination is to say Godfather 2, and then I also was thinking Terminator 2. But then when I really thought about it, Blade Runner 2049 is one of those movies that recent, right? 2017, that if you rewatch it, it's probably one of the best sequels that doesn't rehash. It kind of hits home to what made the original great, but it was his own thing. And stylistically, it was just beautiful. The production, music, everything. It's a great movie. So
I would maybe need to rewatch 2049 because when I did watch it, I thought it was pretty boring.
So, okay. I agree.
It seems so
I
slow.
can see why you think that. And I talked to somebody else because I think that they were more or less really wanting it to be like the original. But I thought that it was just such a atmospheric movie and an engrossing movie. And I don't know. I kept thinking about it, and to me it was everything it should be. Visually, everything. I just felt like I was there.
Hmm.
And the story was fantastic. I thought Harrison Ford's, I mean, he was a supporting character, and he was great. And the Agent K or whatever, Ryan Gosling's character, fantastic. I don't know, maybe you should rewatch that. But you mentioned earlier about movies that if they don't grab your attention initially, then you kind of discard the movie.
Yeah, that one I do remember being like, oh my god, this is so boring.
Wow, we actually disagree on something.
But maybe I could try it again. You know?
No. I'll tell you. You come over one time, we can watch it. And maybe you have a different perspective on it. But yeah,
But from what you said,
mhm.
Terminator 2 is pretty solid.
It's so
That's
solid.
pretty hard to argue.
It's hard
with.
to argue. It is.
That would be a great contender for best sequel.
Yeah, it's another full circle. It's another James Cameron thing. But yeah, I would say like, yeah, sequels. Yeah, that's got to be top 3 easily.
Yeah,
They just don't like most sequels. Bad. Yeah, comedy. There's no comedy sequels. There is not. Think about it. There is none. There is like no comedy sequel.
Ace Ventura number 2.
When Nature Calls,
Yeah.
the rhino scene probably is the best.
Yeah.
Um,
Outside of that, though,
no, that's actually. But yeah, I mean, comedy. I don't understand why they even decide we're going to make a sequel to this, only from the standpoint because they're going to ruin the original. Like it's not going to. There's 98% chance that it's not going to be as good. There's no good comedy sequels. Maybe minus what you had just said.
I will say though I was pleasantly surprised, and I think it was mostly just nostalgia and throwbacks, which made it good. But I enjoyed the new Happy Gilmore.
What? Okay, we need to talk about that. Okay, never have I seen so many flashbacks to the original film and the same jokes in that movie, which made me upset because I'm like, I Happy Gilmore to me was like one of the most.
It's amazing.
It's my favorite Adam Sandler movie, period. And when I watched that, I was like, this is going to be amazing. The shooter's coming back. They're going to like rival everything. And then it's just, there was a few funny parts like that I actually laughed out loud. But then to me, I was like, this does not improve on the original.
No. And that's what I'm saying. The only thing I think that really kept it going was the nostalgia of the original and the throwbacks. Like as a standalone movie, it's nothing.
Okay. Anchorman 2, Zoolander 2, Son of the Mask, horrible movies.
Yeah.
And
Dumb and Dumber too.
Dumb and Dumberer too. Yeah. I mean, there was a couple scenes in there where I'm like, okay, funny, but I had to wait an hour in between those two jokes, and yeah, it was awful.
Yeah, especially when the first one is so amazing.
Okay, like the movies that we're talking about, those are movies that I still quote and people understand it.
Yeah.
And here's back to my point from earlier. When was the last good actual comedy? The movies that you quote, even people that are younger, right? I'll hear like the movies, what they quote is the movies that we know.
Mm-hmm.
That they actually matter. I'm like, oh my gosh, you're quoting a movie from like 2010. Like, that's Step Brothers, dude.
Yeah.
I'm like, nothing is recent that's good comedy wise because everyone's too sensitive.
Yeah. I think the latest one that I saw that I enjoyed, it's still not on the level of like those from back in the day, but are you familiar with the comedian Bert Kreischer?
Yes.
He made a movie called The Machine, which is based off of this
I saw it.
famous joke.
In theaters, yeah.
I enjoyed that movie, and I thought it was fun to watch, and it was funny.
I did too. I enjoyed it. I was surprised that Mark Hamill was like, yeah, I'll be in this.
Yeah.
I thought it was out there and outlandish. And actually, that's a good point because that was one of the first movies that came close to like, okay, they're maybe taking some risks here.
Yeah.
And there's actually something original behind this. Like that comedian's shtick, his whole career is based upon, I think something that movie was about. It was very similar.
That was his most famous story. Like as a stand-up comedian,
Okay.
he would run around and he would tell it at every show. It's kind of has a big part in why he got famous.
Yeah, and
it became
can
this
you imagine
thing.
being him?
Yeah,
And having to tell the exact same joke.
Yeah.
And like relive, and like that would just be bonkers.
That'd be wild.
Yeah, I don't know. But I mean, honestly, all other comedians that are actually really, really good, like my favorites are probably like Bill Burr, Dave Chappelle, those guys that are kind of like edgy, a little edgy.
Yeah. I almost wish those guys would make more movies, because in stand-up comedy, you do have the risk and danger and the less of a concern about being PC or offending people.
Mm-hmm.
Comedy is still kind of crazy in that way, and almost maybe crazier because of how everything got so tampered down. There's a certain number of comedians that just were like, okay, we're just going to amp it up and we're going to go even wilder. So there's some wild boys out there that'll say some crazy shit, but they're hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
So I almost wish they would make more movies. I mean, remember Half Baked was awesome.
I
back
saw
in the
that
day.
guy live, Jim Brewer. Yeah, the guy that always looks like he's high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's two comedians in there. Because, of course, Dave Chappelle's a fucking gangster.
Dave Chappelle is he'll probably go down as one of the very best. I mean, we're talking Richard Pryor, George Carlin, Dave Chappelle, and I think Bill Burr is up there too.
Yeah.
God, I think it's just the ones that are still doing their thing, like they're amazing, but I don't see them in a movie dedicated to like them and, writing up something. It's more
they don't need to either.
Well, no, they don't need to either, but they know that, like Bill Burr's a lot of supporting roles, and they're kind of dramatic, and it kind of feels weird. He should just stick to doing this stand-up comedy, if I'm being honest. But I just kind of miss I really miss a really good comedy that's just when I first saw Step Brothers, I literally could not stop. It was when I didn't laugh I was like, it was rare. And I was like, Ace Ventura, same thing. Like I laughed so much that there hasn't even been any movie close to that. Not even close.
I think at the tail, so yeah, there was like such a sweet spot there where there was so many good comedies, because you had Jim Carrey kind of made all these amazing films, and then I feel like Adam Sandler was right behind
Mike Myers,
them. Yeah, Mike Myers, of course Chris Farley, Farley. A little bit later on, but this movie has like such a fond place in my memory, was the first Hangover, because it was hilarious. It was an amazing movie. The sequels, not so much, but I loved the first one. But part of the reason was circumstances as well, because I saw it when I was deployed. It was like 2009. It came out. And so it kind of sucks. You're deployed, you're out in the middle of the desert. It's, not that cool. But they showed The Hangover at the movie theater. And everybody went and watched, and it was like a great release from just being at work and being out there all the time. And I just feel like the whole place was laughing so hard. And you know how it's like contagious when you're around people and you're watching a comedy like that. If people are laughing next to you, there's something about it. Like you just start laughing too. It's like it invigorates that energy.
Think about like the theater experience. That's an aspect we didn't discuss earlier when we talked about going to the theaters, is that. And maybe that's part of the answer to bringing people back to the theater, is kind of like a collective shared experience, and that's something that
there's a negative side of it too, though, like people fucking talking or pulling out their phones. I was just
about to say this, and I will tell you, this is kind of funny. The Apple Vision Pro, when that had come out, I looked at it and this is amazing, and it was the funniest thing. I was talking to someone, they're like, so if I get the same thing, do we get to share it? Like, no. I go, this thing's not going to work. It's going to fail. This whole thing's going to fail. Like, if I can't watch a movie with somebody else, and only I can watch a movie with this Vision Pro and nobody else can, people want to watch movies together.
Some people do.
So, well, I mean,
and maybe more and more people would just prefer to be by themselves.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm not going to get the Vision Pro specifically for myself. I mean, I would just watch a movie by myself, but if the Vision Pro is able to like make a screen appear as if it's, like 2 feet, or excuse me, not 2 feet, 2 stories tall. And that's amazing. That's like you're in a big theater, and to share that with somebody else would be like an event. and you're telling me I can't do that? Like, that was like, okay, this product is amazing, but this is the one critical factor. Like, and that's why it failed. I was so excited for it too. But in any case, yeah, theaters laughing. But yeah, if it's a serious movie or like an important film and you need to hear the dialogue, yeah, that would definitely get it.
Yeah.
That'd not be good.
Maybe the theater is best for certain films, like maybe not for all films, because that's a good point. You know, going back to Quentin Tarantino, if it's just a dialogue movie, I do not want to hear people fucking around, talking to each other or anything like that. It's gonna aggravate the shit out of me.
Have you ever been to like an Alamo Drafthouse cinema yet?
Mm-mm.
So their whole shtick is they started in Texas and they spread out. There's a couple in Omaha when I was there, but they're big time movie lovers and they have a no talk policy. If you're talking at all, you're out. They kick you out.
Nice.
Very, very strict. But then they also have a counter where like if there's like movies that you can see for like $1 that everyone's seen and you can quote along. They call them like quote alongs or sing alongs or whatever it is. I'm like, oh, perfect.
Have you ever done a Rocky Horror Picture Show?
Like a sing along?
Have you gone to seen it?
I know. No, I know about these things existing, but I've never been to one myself. Have you?
Yeah, I did. I didn't really know about it. And this girl I was dating at the time told me about it. And they were like, people get into it and they quote the lines and people even bring props because they know there's certain things. So the whole audience, the people that know will like slap at the same time when there's a clap or whatever, a part of the movie. I think at one point some people in the audience even had rubber gloves because there's like a scene from the movie where you're like putting on gloves and they'll put them on and be like, psh. And there's a certain amount of interactivity going on. I had never been to anything like that, but it was pretty cool. It was pretty fun. And it was like a lot of cheering and laughing. So it's like, you know, it came out in the 70s. So it's not like nobody is like, if this is your first time watching it, don't see it here.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, this is for fans that like do this every year.
Well, yeah, and they tailored it like that. And that's what I liked about it. It's like, and some of the stuff that everyone's familiar with, hey, you spend $2 and then you're just there, they're just there to make money for like, you know, food and, you know, anything concessions wise, and it's fine. They upcharge you like 500% for the popcorn anyway. So yeah, I mean, yeah, no, I
kind of like that idea though of just playing classics where you can kind of hoot and holler and have a good time.
Yeah, they
bonus if they serve drinks.
They do. They had a craft bar, and then I would say like they'd have like weird things like those ninja movies from the 80s, like American Ninja. They'd have like a double header, and so you would literally and they have a little intermission. You have like 10 minutes. You go use the restroom really quick, come back and watch the next American Ninja. I mean, it's ridiculous, but I like the concept of those, but I imagine they're not expanding because of, you know, the streaming world that we live in and just trying to navigate that. But yeah, no, I wish we had one in this town, to be honest with you.
What is your go-to theater here? Have you found one?
I've only been one, man. I only been to the Cinemark, I think, and there was another one out off of north of where I live. I don't remember the name of it. The
Cinemark right off Powers, like in the shopping center?
Correct.
Yeah.
That's the one I've been to. I liked it. I liked it fine. I actually liked it quite a bit and, you know, standard, but I mean, it's not a specialized cinema chain like the one that I'm describing. And if you're ever in town and you see one and it's a good movie that you want to actually go see, I would highly recommend just checking out for the overall. It's made for movie lovers.
Okay.
And so it's none of that BS that you have to deal with, you know.
One thing I will say that is a requirement for me at this point in my life, maybe I've just kind of become bougie or just got accustomed to the lifestyle, but now I will not go to a theater if they don't have the recliners. Whoa. Like if it's stadium seating or whatever. So at that same theater you're talking about, the Cinemark, right? We went to an IMAX one time. And I can't remember what we were seeing.
Oh, I think I know where you're going with this. Yeah.
Yeah, but we went to the IMAX. It costs extra, and it had fucking stupid ass seats, like the old school little chairs where the thing flips back and it's totally
and
sucks.
You're very close to the other row. Like
there's no room
behind you,
right behind them. And I'm like, I paid extra for this bullshit when every other like auditorium in this place has like the full blown recliners and everything. I was so mad.
No, sirree. Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think I'm not sure where. I think it was here. I was like, I went to the theater. It's the one I think off Union, but it doesn't matter. It was an IMAX theater, and the rows were so close to. I mean, like when we first got there, everyone was like bumping into each other and like really very like intimate. Like it was very intimate, and I was like,
Yeah.
I do not like this at all.
Nut to butt. That's what we call it in the Army.
Not to, yeah, well, yeah, exactly. It felt a lot. I felt a lot like that, but yeah. Anyway, that maybe lends to the whole movie theater experience. Is like if they have those additional things that would pull you in, like a Rocky Horror Picture Show or another sing along or quote along. Yeah, maybe that's it. And yeah, I mean, the great beer, and they had bottomless popcorn. You know, you buy one and you just continue just whatever until you're done. Yeah, it's.
I don't know why it's up to us to solve these problems. It seems like they create their own problems. Like we're telling them, make made by man movies, do it. You know, like make interactive, like cheap movies, like you're saying with the Alamo Draft House. Like that's a cool ass idea. I mean, yeah, like make it better. But also when you're making movies, take risks and accept like scripts that maybe are a little edgy, and don't just make another fucking Spider-Man because
Oh my gosh.
dude.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I 100% agree. And I think that it's more profit over, but I think that they've been realizing that the movies that are like, I'll tell you, like Oppenheimer, for instance, right? Like that made like close to $1 billion. That's an original movie.
Yeah.
That's not like,
That's Christopher Nolan though. He's a beast.
well, he's a beast. True.
Everything he touches is gold.
I like gold. But yeah, no, I was trying to think. Yeah, there's a couple other movies that were original, like or Sinners, right? Sinners
That was awesome,
That was
actually.
a great movie. Vampires.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I hate fucking musicals.
Yeah.
But it's technically like a horror musical. And I love that movie.
That one. There's a couple of scenes. Yeah, they were done so well.
Yeah, that was great. And the music was kick ass.
The movie the movie altogether was amazing.
Yeah.
But I think what I'm trying to say here is that I think that the studios are slowly starting to realize, oh my God, that people are interested in original stories, like original like properties. Like we need to start like going after talent that wants to make movies that no one's ever seen before.
Yeah, you need to turn it back into an art and not just your own money printing machine where you're going to do the next superhero thing or rehash the next movie that you think is going to make money. That's completely the wrong direction, because anything artistic, you know, you've seen bands do it. You've seen your favorite band do it where you're like, they were good. Their first 3 albums were good. And then they sold out and then they fucking sucked, dude. They lost their magic. They lost their spark. But that's what the whole Hollywood industry has done. It's kind of like lost its spark. And you still get a few that squeeze through the top, but it just became a money printing machine. It stopped caring about art.
Yeah, no, I'm hopeful because Warner Brothers, just recently purchased by Netflix, did Oppenheimer, did Sinners, did a lot of original movies, and they were all like huge hits. And so that made them look really valuable to Netflix when they went to go ahead and just say, well, we're going to offer you this cash offer or whatever. And it'll be interesting. I hope that they catch on to that, because people are going to smarten up. Even the dumb ones are going to smarten up and be like, what am I doing? Why am I wasting this time with this? Like, it's the same thing over and over.
Yep.
But yeah, I know. I keep thinking about Alien. I don't know why, but I mean, that's something that everyone knows. Everyone knows Alien, and they just made it cool again. They made it relevant. The Predator movies, same thing. You need to watch those Predator movies. If you haven't, you said you watched Prey. But yeah, oh man, there's some movies that I'm just still super stoked about, and I keep thinking about. So sorry, yeah, I mentioned Frankenstein earlier, and I really, really enjoyed that. And then we talk about horror films. So like, the horror films are hitting right now. What was the one that was Talk to Me, and their new one, Bring Her Back? Have you seen that one? It's these guys, they're called the Philippine directors, I believe, and they're from Australia.
Is that the one where...
So Talk to Me is when they have like the actual like hand, and they do some sort of like seance or something.
Yeah.
And they're doing like party tricks on it.
Yeah.
And it takes a turn for the worse.
Bring Her Back is when the two kids like moving with that lady.
Yes.
Dude, that movie is crazy.
Dude, I like that more than Talk to Me. I keep saying I want to say Talk to the Hand, but yeah, Talk to Me.
Same.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I watched that recently and I was like, wow, this is actually really, really good.
It's crazy. It horrified Jessica. And the funny part is she picked it.
Oh.
So unfortunately, I don't watch as many horror movies as I would like because I typically have to do it alone because Jess is not real stoked about it. But I love them. So sometimes I'll just watch them alone. But she knows that I like them. So every once in a while she'll play ball, right? And she actually picked that movie.
Oh my God. Like one of the scariest movies of the year. Like, oh yeah.
She was like so freaked out. Like that part when the kid was like put the knife in his mouth.
Oh my God.
I was like
that scene, the way that
insane.
the way that okay, I knew. I was like, okay, when they set up that scene, they made it seem like nothing's gonna happen, but I knew.
Yeah,
I was like,
he's just cutting melon. He's taking care of the kid.
Yeah. This is when things are gonna take like a real big turn, and then I was like, yep, sure enough, yeah, that movie was awesome.
It surprised me.
Yeah,
because I wasn't really tracking, you know, I wasn't aware of it, and she was like, "Oh, I heard this was good," and I was like, "Okay, cool."
Oh yeah, I heard this was good. Yeah, no, yeah, that one was really good. Okay, and I saw another one, and this. I was out in Kansas City, and I was at like one of those hotel bars. The guy's like, we're talking movies. He's like, have you ever seen Mads? I was like, what are you talking about?
Mads?
It's like, Mads. He's like, there's like this French film. It's like, it's wild. He's like, this is like one of the best things I've ever seen. So I was like, what do you, like, what? Okay. And so he sent me the link and I ended up watching it. And the premise is guy purchases drugs and he's starting to trip. And then he's starting to see some weird shit happen. Like really like off the wall stuff. And he's like, wow, these drugs are crazy. Or is what he actually experiencing? Is this actually happening? And so you don't know the entire movie if he's actually just hallucinating all this stuff or it's actually happening.
Oh shit.
And so you're kind of on a trip. You're like trying to figure out like, is this going on and or not? And you don't know where it's going. And yeah, I think it was like a French film. It came out a couple of years ago, but I was floored by that. And I was like, wow, great recommend. I'll send you the link after we talk. But yeah,
that's such a cool idea.
It's great, right?
I love that. It's not the same, but it reminds me of Memento.
Dude, Memento.
Where you're just like along for the ride and you're just like, what the fuck is going on?
I like movies where like if I'm not giving any context, like for instance, like, okay, like if you say, hey, Nick, there's this movie that's really, really good. I think you should watch it. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I watch it. And I have no idea. I know that Matt wants me to watch this. I know that it's supposed to be good. That's all that I know. And then like I go in cold. If they could find a way to market movies that way somehow, out of the plethora of movies and choices that you had to, and just say, hey, sit down and watch this. Maybe they can do that with like an algorithm or something like that. But
yeah, I hate any type of spoiler. Like I prefer to be cold. I don't want to know anything about it.
It's so much better.
Like if someone's just like, there's a cool new sci-fi you should probably be watching, I'll just be like, say less. Don't say anything else. I'll just go watch it.
Yeah, no, like, yeah. I mean, the last time that I remember doing that, Fright Night, the original, all I knew it was about a vampire.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That movie blew me away. Thunderheart. Do you remember that? With the Val Kilmer movie?
Well, wait a minute. With Fright Night, are you talking about watching the original or the remake?
Original Fright Night.
Okay. Because it was an older movie, right?
85.
Okay. Because they did do a remake.
Which is also good.
It is.
But it's not nearly as good as the 85. Because 85
I don't know
is
if
like...
I've seen the original.
Oh my God. It's like the best... Like it's the campiest 80s movie I've ever seen. And the most fun.
Okay.
It's like the premise, you already know the premise. I'm not going to spoil anything, but if you suspect that your neighbor's a vampire, that's the premise.
Yeah.
It's so simple. It's kind of like in this kid, he's a teenager, like, I think that this guy's an actual vampire. Like,
yeah.
And that's what's such a simple idea. And if you were a filmmaker or a writer or whatever, you would take that and then just build a script around it, make it work. Like that that to me, when I first saw that, I was like, oh my God, this is such a simple idea. And then it just made it amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know anything about it outside of, yes, vampire, but yeah, Thunderheart, same thing. But yeah, I ended up having a much better experience without knowing any of that crap.
Yeah.
How do you market that? How do you?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's kind of like, hey, like you sign up for a reader, and it spits out an algorithm, and it says, we're not going to tell you anything about these movies, but we're going to say we're going to highly recommend these for you, and then you just like pick one of them. You're like, this is this genre, this is this genre, and then you just go about. I think that I don't know what would we call that? Going in cold watching, or what, I'm not sure what to call it, but I think it'd be kind of a cool idea to just not know anything, going completely dark.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how to handle that, because at the same time, I like to watch the previews when I go to a movie.
Schwarzenegger, right?
Because I just want to know what's going on.
Well, I do. Okay, so let's just say like you didn't know anything about Schwarzenegger, and someone like this service presents to you cold. Here's this action film. You just end up watching like Predator or Commando or whatever it is, and you're just like, oh my God, like this is like the greatest movie ever. But I think that there's like you're almost filling in your head the plot line. Like, okay, I have an idea of what this movie is going to be, and when you do that, that's lost. And I think that if you go in cold, it's kind of like there's no expectation set. There's nothing that's drawing you outside of someone say, hey, you need to watch this.
Maybe there would be a market for a new type of service. So we talked about a couple of directors, like say Ridley Scott or Christopher Nolan, right? What if there was a service where you subscribe to them? So you subscribe to Christopher Nolan. So of course, anytime he made a new movie, it'd be like, boom, new Christopher Nolan. That's all you know about it. New movie. Cool, got it. But then there's also sub feeds, and you could do like Christopher Nolan recommends his favorite movies or whatever. You subscribe to some list that,
but it doesn't tell you anything else outside of that.
Yeah, it does. It's like a way.
It's just genre. It just tells you the genre. Like,
yeah.
It's like
you go
sci-fi?
like sci-fi, romance, action, whatever. But it's just
kind of like here's
and there's probably a way to refine that idea.
We are hitting on something that's really true, because we live in an era where we have too many choices. So I will literally, if I don't know what I'm going to watch on Netflix or HBO or whatever it is, I could spend up to an hour trying to figure out what it is I want to watch.
It's a disaster, dude. It's if I could subscribe to that thing that I just said, where I could just say like, hey, Quentin Tarantino recommends this mystery movie. You don't even have to tell me the genre. I'll be like, cool.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think that I think we're hitting on something serious, because I think that we live in an era of too many choices, and if it's kind of like, yeah, Amazon, like you will also like this, you will also like this, or Apple, it's like the same thing. It's like, why can't we do that with movies but not provide any context?
Maybe we should start some sort of app or something. I mean, it seems like a good idea.
Then we'll probably get bought out.
I mean, that's fine. Which is ultimately the intention of a small business, right? Let's start a small business. We'll put our heart and soul into it, but then we'll sell it for millions of dollars.
But if we patent this and no one else steals it, that way
we can't release this episode then.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Cat's out of the bag.
I'm saying, like, yeah, if we do this, like, okay, let's hurry up and patent it, because then, yeah, they won't be able to do something with it. Should anyone come up with the idea? But yeah, I don't know. That's how I feel, that like it's not just it's the choices, but it's also like the previews are like 3 minutes long. You know everything that's going to happen.
Yeah,
you know,
it's giving a little too much away.
It is, and I like to be surprised by movies, not just from like the plot points, but also like who's also in it. Like, oh, Christoph Waltz is in this. Oh, this is interesting.
Yeah,
like I didn't realize that was happening. You know, I like to be surprised, and that you're voiding all of that. What I think that this is something.
I would love that, because I've definitely experienced being frozen into indecisiveness, like you say, where you're searching through all of the different platforms, and then you spend an hour on movie night when you're hanging out with your old lady and you're trying to figure out what to watch, but then you're just spending a ridiculous amount of time. You're like, let's check Netflix, let's check Prime, let's check HBO or whatever, and you still like don't really know. You're like, I don't know.
Yeah, no, we're onto something.
I think so.
I think we're onto something. But
yeah, because if I could have some sort of thing, and again, we could refine it. You know, you could tailor your interests, and you could make it all super dynamic. You'd be like, these are the directors I love. These are the things that I really like. And maybe as you go through this system, you could mark things as watched or whatever, so you're not getting a bunch of repeats.
It's not even that medium. It could be music. It could be comic books. It could be TV shows.
Yeah, you could use it for anything.
You could use it for anything, yeah.
Which would also be a great way, because I can't tell you how many times I've gone through some of these apps and I've picked a random, like, it looked like shit, honestly, like weird horror sci-fi B-rated movie, and I loved it. I thought it was so cool.
Well, can you tell me what it is?
My memory doesn't really work like that, so I would have to get back to you on that.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, I like surprises like that. And okay, we used to have these terrible movie nights with my friends. We just have like every once a month we do it. And so we would all figure out, okay, here's the terrible movies we're going to watch, you know, things like The Room or Troll 2 or any of those really bad movies. And
Troll's fun though.
Oh, it's so much fun.
Yeah.
But when you're hanging out with your friends and you're ripping on it and you're having a few beers, it's like, it's awesome, because the best movies are the ones where they try their best and they fail miserably. And watching those are just, it's a great time. And I know I'm deviating a little bit here, but those bad movies are like, I can't tell you. Have you ever had like a bad movie night, or you ever like watched something terrible just to like watch it with others, or just to rip on it? I think that there's something to be said for it, because in my head, they're so incomprehensibly like awful.
But they're so bad they're good.
They're so bad that they're good, right?
Yeah.
And it's just
like Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
I love that movie.
It's fucking so dumb.
It's so dumb.
But it's awesome at the same time.
If you had to explain to somebody that movie and you're like, hey, yeah, so there's like these alien clowns and they like to wrap people up in cotton candy and then there's the ship, right? And then it's really big and they look like clowns, but like they're not like with makeup, but it's like their own makeup, but it's kind of not. And there's also the sheriff, I guess, that cares about what's going on, and he has a really important scene. By the way, his death scene was amazing from what I recall. But yeah, like stuff like that. That's why we watch those movies. Like, I mean, you may call that maybe not a terrible movie, but just an outlandish, ridiculous movie, and I call that a bad movie though too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's something I really missed, and maybe we can start that. Maybe if you want to watch some terrible. Remember, I texted you the other day and I said, hey, you want to watch some campy '80s horror films? It's sort of same vein, you know, something like where it's kind of a little out there, but yeah,
I love that shit, man.
I
used to
love
love Friday the 13th and
so good.
You know, Nightmare on Elm Street and all that shit.
Did you know they're making a Friday the 13th TV series?
Really?
Yeah. Why? It's a prequel TV series about like how was it Crystal Lake?
Yeah.
How that started or whatever. I just wish they would stop going to that well. Just stop. Just stop.
I know. I feel like Jason has kind of done his thing, you know.
He needs to stop. You know, I tell you what, there was have you ever seen Trick or Treat yet?
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's amazing. And when I saw that right around Halloween. I'm like, this is like one of the best Halloween movies. I'm like, no one's really talking about this.
I feel like I just randomly found it on Netflix. It was like, Halloween, here's some things. And I was like, all right, great. Whatever. And I was like, dude, this is badass.
And they had like icon horror figure. I'm not sure what it was, but it was like kind of like, it was like a jack-o'-lantern, like
something like that.
They could totally do like a new movie like that in that same vein, like an anthology series with like that being like the overall bad guy or whatever. That was great. I mean, man, that's another original movie. I would say it's an original enough to be put in that genre with the same stereotypes from said genre, but also like being fresh at the same time. That was a lot of fun. That
It
was
was.
I vibes. That movie was all about like Halloween vibes. I love Halloween. I love fall. That movie was hey, have you ever seen Thanksgiving? I texted you about that too. It's called
Mm,
Thanksgiving.
yeah.
Not Thanksgiving. Different movie.
I have not, because they made, I feel like that there was a big rash of holiday horror movies going. There's like one for every holiday.
Oh, were you
There's like
serious?
Valentine's Day. There's like,
Oh yeah, there is one.
yeah, there's like for like literally every holiday. So I did not see that one.
So Thanksgiving is a fake movie from the trailer. It's a trailer from the Kill Bill, I think. They had like, was it like the fake movie trailers?
Mm.
Was it Kill Bill? Yeah, it was the fake intermission or something. No. It was Planet Terror and the stuntman Mike movie. What is that called together? Brick House, Roadhouse,
Grindhouse?
Grindhouse.
Yeah.
The intermission there was a movie called Thanksgiving,
Okay.
fake movie. Thanksgiving, real movie, came out last year. Horror film about during Thanksgiving, hilarious. It was actually like funny and really gruesome.
Okay.
Like very like I was like I like had to like close my. I'm like I was like,
whoa.
are you serious right now? Like, and there'd be like a joke like right after. I'm like, how like the transition? You need to watch it.
Okay.
It is like I was surprised by it. I was texting my friend. I was like, oh my god, like I was not expecting this movie to be like this good. Oddly enough, that guy that directed that, Eli Roth, he went ahead and directed Borderlands, the movie.
Really?
And I'm like, how can you go from something so good to a piece of dog shit?
I didn't see Borderlands.
Don't.
Was it bad?
Oh yeah.
The game was cool.
The game's amazing.
Yeah.
That's why it's so. But I will say, when we're talking about movies, just the entire theme here, but video game adaptations have gotten a lot better recently.
Yeah.
So you got like your Mortal Kombat movies,
The show
Fallout.
Fallout was sick. What's the mushroom zombie? Yeah.
Last of Us.
Yeah. Although last season,
That's so funny.
whack.
That's exactly so. As I was out being present with other people at a bar, as I was walking through town, we started watching like the first 2 episodes of the second season, and we watched the third and we're like, oh, this kind of sucks. And some guy at the bar was like, they can have season 2. It's horrible. And I was like, okay. I think that I may be wasting my time with season 2, and I heard that it was just meandering and being
Because it's up to 3 now, right?
okay. They haven't released 3 seasons yet. They only
Oh,
did
is it only 2
did 2.
seasons?
And you've played the video games, right?
No, I
Okay.
didn't.
So the video games are like a billion times better than like if you. I'm the type of video gamer. I don't like to do the online, whatever. I like to play like video games as if I'm in the movie.
Right.
So like if you ever played Uncharted, it's the same people, the Naughty Dog or whatever. And the Last of Us series is like you're in a big ass movie. And when they announced the new series, I was like, oh my god, HBO's behind this. Is going to be like amazing. Like the first season is just like jaw-droppingly awesome.
Mhm.
And then they just kind of made it like political almost. I don't know. I don't. But I will say, if you haven't played those games, you have to play them.
Okay. I've been looking for new games to play.
There's so many, like the games that the setting, the post-apocalyptic setting where nature's basically taking over.
Mm-hmm.
There's something beautiful behind that. It's like there was a trail I used to ride with my bike, and it was overrun and it used to be like an established trail, and there's something about like an overgrowth of like the forest takes over, and there's something about that, like what would happen, right, if there was a crazy virus and there's only a limited amount of people that survive, and what happens to the rest of the world. Like the video game and TV series, it's astounding.
I think everyone has a low-key apocalypse fantasy, or at least men.
That's a very interesting take. Can you make, okay, so you say men, like you're saying like there's a different variety of it, or like?
No, I just think men in general have a little bit of an apocalypse fantasy of like what would I do in that situation? What kind of person
Oh,
would I be? What group would I get up with? Like how would what
oh,
would my survival skills be like?
right.
You know? I think
Yeah.
everyone's played with the thought at least a little bit.
No, I like it. I, before I forget about the movie, and I haven't seen it. It's called Welcome to Frogtown. It's it's about Roddy Piper, who used to be a wrestler. He's in it. He's in it, but the premise is he's like the only male left on the planet, and he needs to like. There's a lot of females left, so he needs to like impregnate all of them. And he thought about what would someone's fantasy be in a post-apocalyptic. My mind immediately jumped. I'm like, oh my god,
Yeah.
to be the only male left, and then
Yeah, you're like,
all
I
of
got to
its
get all
females.
these ladies pregnant. You're like, shucks.
Man, this is terrible. What a horror film.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, no, that's an interesting point to be like what part would you play
Yeah.
in a survivor's game, you know? So like,
It's
yeah,
an interesting concept. Like, what would you be good at? What qualities of yours would shine?
I'm
Like
like
again,
I'm like an overseer, and I'm also kind of a doer. Like I know how everything works, but I'm not like a master of it. So
Yeah.
like, does that make sense? So I know how I'm like, I think in my opinion, I would be like, I understand the bigger picture, but the people that are actually doing said X would be more important in that particular field, if that makes sense. So like your electricians or like, or even like, yeah, even plumbing, or I'm just trying to think of like anything else that would still be.
We need a doctor. You need a couple of doctors. You need
I think at that point everyone would be a lot more doctory. I think that like everyone would just like, because everyone would have to be like, just fend for themselves and figure it out. It's funny you mentioned that. I'm going through like the first aid CPR AED course, like the long one, and I'm like, there's a lot of things I don't remember, and it's good to remind myself of them. But yeah, in any case, that's really interesting. I wonder like if I were to build a society, or like you said, like build a new community, foster a new community, like you mentioned, and then bring everyone together, and then make it like a prerequisite. You know, you are in this community, you need to know basic first aid to help out other people. Here's this or that. You're not going to be a set up doctor, but there'll be people that will, you know, I'm not sure there would be a need for lawyers
No.
anymore. You could probably weed them out.
I forget what it was. I saw something recently, and it was this type of environment where, you know, it's end of days or whatever, society is ruined, but they had all of their job titles kind of broken down, but it was very much more simplistic and overarching. You had like teacher, caregivers, doctor / taking care of the old or the young or whatever, just caregiver, right?
Mhm.
Like builder, mechanic or whatever. So it was a little more overarching each role. And cook or something like that. And like that was the extent of the jobs. It's like you can be one of these 5 things. Like what do you want to be?
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Or like security. Maybe that was one.
I was well, yeah, I'll definitely be part of the security for sure. Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, security.
Yeah.
But no, that's interesting to think about. Yeah, I mean, it's not just like what role you'd play. It's just like, I don't know. Sometimes I think things would be easier in a weird way outside of like the convenient lifestyle, but it's just kind of like your mental state, your emotional state.
It would be easier.
It would be rooted, and it would be just the thing, you know. So it wouldn't be complicated by like, well, I have my house, I have my mortgage, or I have my car, I have this, I have my job. It's just like I'm just living, and I have a relationship with this person, and I know I need this to survive. That's it. That's it.
It's so weird because our lives now are on one hand so easy, but on the other hand so complicated and like mentally fucking complicated, mostly like all the shit that you got to juggle. Whereas if you can put yourself in that position, and like obviously I'm oversimplifying, but if you're like, my job is to grow green beans and take the green beans back to the village and they love it when I come back with green beans, you can be like, that is like kind of awesome in a way, and simple and amazing and beautiful in a way too, where you're contributing back to the community and people love what you bring back, and you know your mission and you have a purpose and you can execute it and you feel good about it. Whereas life today is so much more complicated.
No, I think that this is interesting to talk about. I mean, that is honestly, that may be a weird form of therapy, and have it,
It is.
and have it be forced.
Yeah.
You were going to go to this, I don't know what you want to call it. Pretend, I wouldn't call it pretend. Like, you're going to be in a post-apocalyptic world where you need to do X, and it'll probably like rewire your brain to make you think like, okay, this is actually what really matters. Like, the stuff I was getting so upset about or worked up about are nothing.
Yeah.
And man, yeah, that's very interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be crazy.
So we're gonna have a patent.
Yeah.
To do going in cold movies or TV shows, and then we're gonna do this.
Yep.
We're gonna call it post-apocalyptic therapy.
Yeah. Yeah. Where we're going to come, and after you sign all the forms, we're going to come and kidnap you in the middle of the night and take you out in the middle of nowhere. But you're going to contribute to this community, and it's going to be the best days of your life.
I bet you billionaires would pay tons of money.
Yeah. We'd have some new fucking this new retreat where people come out and just live on a farm, basically. And they're like, this like, healed me.
Exactly. It's like, oh, this is life-changing. You're just like, okay, well, if that's what you needed, I guess it works. But yeah, that's so interesting. And a lot of, dude, we're talking about multimedia, or we're talking about like pop culture, but we're also talking about how to make things better for people. I think maybe the beer's talking a little bit, but I will say there is a lot of draw with the post-apocalyptic movies, TV shows, and whatnot. You could say the same thing about Walking Dead season 1. The rest you can forget about.
Yeah, it went downhill fast.
Really quick. I was surprised.
Just regurgitating the same shit. Oh, we found another community. Oh, it got fucked up. There's invaders. Okay. Oh, we found another community. It went sideways.
I was floored by the first season, I gotta say, and I was just like, wow, this is so good. And then they fired Frank Darabont. Frank Darabont directed Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah, fucked up big time there.
And speaking of, I'm surprised we haven't talked about this, but you mentioned you're a big fan of Stephen King. Have you watched the Welcome to Derry on HBO yet?
I have not yet.
Dude.
Is it good?
I was surprised. I'm 3 episodes in, but it's a prequel series set in the 60s where it examines where a lot of the things came from that we know about, but it's also like, it's a shared universe. So it's not just like, there's a character that's like from The Shining that's in Welcome to Derry.
Yeah. And
there's also other calls and references to like that universe, whether it be like Shawshank, Penitentiary or whatever it is, or
well, all of his worlds are combined. I don't know if everyone knows that, but I've read most of his books, and he has his own universe.
So what's your favorite book?
The Stand, hands down.
Favorite movie? Wow, he's thinking really hard.
That's tough.
So, movie. Honestly, if Shawshank Redemption, I think as a movie, that is probably one of the most complete movies out there, start to finish, in my opinion. However, if you've read the book and then you've seen the movie, and you have a hard time mirroring up the two, because I haven't read the book.
They did a good job on that one, though.
Yeah, okay.
Again, a lot of Stephen King movie adaptations are pretty underwhelming, but I would say they did a really good job on that one. They did a good job on The Green Mile. They did a good job. There's this one on Netflix. I can't remember what it's called. It's like 1911 or something like that.
Yes, 1922.
Yeah.
Or 1920. Yes, I saw it with Thomas Jane.
Yeah, where they're just out there on the farm.
Correct.
They did a good job on that one. It's from what I remember, it's not the same, but I still think Gerald's Game they did on Netflix.
That was Stephen King?
Yeah. The book is more creepy for sure because it really dives into like it's an insane story. This lady is out on a retreat with her husband. They think they're going to be a little kinky or whatever, and he handcuffs her to the bed and he has a fucking heart attack. Well, first shit goes sideways. Like he's being like weird, then he's like turns like kind of aggressive and a little rapey, and she's like chained up, like what the fuck? And then he has a heart attack and dies, and like dies on top of her, and she kicks him off, but she's stuck in her fucking handcuffs. And the whole story is just like mostly just mental shit going. Like she's chained up in this cabin and is hearing all kinds of crazy noises. She's like going insane basically. And eventually I think she has to like rip her fucking hands out and like rip the skin off of her hands to like escape. But wild story. But I thought they
I
did
didn't know that was
decent on the movie.
I didn't know that was Stephen King.
It was a short story. Which was what he was originally known for, was for short stories. He would write and submit to like horror magazines and stuff like that. And he started getting his short stories published, and then eventually progressed onto making full length.
Yeah, no, there's we could talk forever about movies and TV shows and books.
We could, but I probably got to wrap it up because I already got to pee again.
Me too.
And I should probably go have a little bit of food.
Yep.
All right, bro.
All right.
Till next time.
Till next time.
Thanks for listening, everyone. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps the show out. See you next time.